All right, let's jump in. I think the broad strokes are a video on Text Expander. To be honest, you know just as much as I do at this point. I think you've been using it plenty, and it's part of your workflow. So maybe we can just show the different ways in which we use it. All right, so let's talk Text Expander. It's a tool that lets you use your keyboard shortcuts to expand text in any field that you're writing in. So this is good for email, for social support that you might be doing on Twitter or Instagram, for Help Scout tickets and support is probably a really good use case. For really anything around your computer, if there's things that you type often, this makes that easier and faster. With the Text Expander, you can have personal snippets, which are just your own. They won't expand for anyone else. And then organization on levels wide. So these are ones that we're using across the team, shared language that we can use for support, for social media reply, for the levels like bio link to explain kind of what levels is. So those are all the things that'll live in there. And then once you open up one of those snippets, let's go into levels general and just pick one of them. Yep. So you'll have the content type, which is plain text. If you want to do some formatting with links and pictures, photos, bold, italics, etc., then you would use formatted text. That's where you would enter the copy that you want to expand. Underneath it is the abbreviation field, and that's the one where you'll set the label. It's what it's called, it's just titling it. And underneath that is the abbreviation. And there's two ways to expand a snippet, like we spoke about. There's the abbreviation where you're typing in that .smo, and then we'll drop in that text there. Or there's the search feature.
Hi.
Awesome. All right, so you already got that. So starting with that, what did you do? .hi?
Yeah, so I used the abbreviation .hi, and that one is a fill-in. So when that one pops up, it pulls the hi, the default to there, but from there, I can just type in Maz or Miz or any of them. So yeah, it saves you a lot of keystrokes in the long run.
Let's pull up the app and just kind of go into that snippet and show folks how we built that out, because it's a pretty basic one.
Yeah, I use this left-hand side to go through the search bar. That pulls up, it'll search through the title, something that's inside of the snippet, and then also the abbreviation itself. So whichever of those three you can just go through and type there. So this is the hi snippet, and this is the breakdown of it.
Yeah, so you can double click on the fill-in, and that's where you set the default value for there. So if you know the person's name, you can enter it into the single line field. Otherwise, it'll just default to there, which is pretty easy. Another one that I use, which is pretty helpful, when I name a file, I like to name it with the year, month, day. And so instead of having to look at the calendar, see what day it is, if I have my toolbar on or off, you can just do .ymd.
There we go.
Ooh. And then I follow it up with underscore, screenshot, dash, blah, 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 and hit enter. And so it's a quick way to rename a file and then just have it categorized correctly by date. So it's pretty helpful.
Yeah. And that's the breakdown here.
Why don't you create a new one and just to mess around with it? Yeah, the time one.
Yep. Gotcha. So how about 8 p.m.? Not the way dates or times are formatted, but just having fun here. 1 through 12. So this is if you did at today in Notion.
Yeah.
We need some colons there. So we've added that colon. If we
kill the space before the minute.
Yep. Here you go.
If you're responding to a member and you say, hey, your order is going to ship tomorrow, but you're sending the email at night and it's not clear if tomorrow is today or whatever it might be. So you can actually do calculations. So if you open up that text expander window, and let's call this one .tomorrow, we'll edit it. .tom, whatever. And in the copy,
yep,
you can put your order will ship tomorrow, comma. And then if you add a date.
Add days? Add 1 day. There we go. Let's see if that works.
Doing it live. Your order will ship 13. That's today's date. Okay, maybe we didn't get this right.
Well, so I think we ran into another interesting. So these two snippets right here have a really similar or identical first couple characters. And as you're adding snippets through the library here, that's going to happen from time to time. And how you can see that is it'll actually highlight this abbreviation here on the right hand side. So what I've done is you can go into this I right here, and it'll show you the two different abbreviations that are in conflict. So it looks like this one you were making too while I was trying to make this one.
Oh yeah, good call. That's exactly what happened. Just
I
right on my
can
end.
view that snippet, or I can even just go in and like delete the one that I was working on. So we just have Tom, and then congrats, conflict resolved. And we can just go in and fix this. So your order will ship.
And I figured out what happened. We need to put the calculation before the date. So you can say tomorrow, comma, and then do add day with the calculation, and then put the date that year of today.
Perfect. Add the day, add 1 day, and we're going to add date, today's date. So you want to do a Monday day?
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Let's try that.
Cool.
Ooh.
Something people type very, very often is their email address. And so you can make a personal folder for those kinds of things for yourself. I have one for my email called .em, which is just my levels email just dropped right in.
Yeah, I think I have the same thing here. Got EMA. Like I also send people my Calendly a lot. So I'm going to add that one into my personal folder here. Then Cal's already taken. So I'll go to Cal E. Cool. There we go.
And you can take it a step further and just put the whole copy that you'd normally use. Just to say like, hey, if you want to get some time, you should book it here on my calendar link. Then you don't have to type that whole sentence ever again.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. There we go.
There's two ways to get a snippet to expand. One is by using the abbreviation, which we saw in the text expander window. So .date will expand the date. But for some other ones where you have a lot of copy in them, mostly in support or some of your email snippets, where there's a full paragraph of text, you can actually search some of that text. If you don't know the exact snippet abbreviation, you can just search the text and then use the abbreviation. So yeah, how are you pulling that out?
Yeah, so I actually have now migrated it over to command apostrophe. But it is originally on command /. So what you can do to change that is to go into your text expander window, hit command comma, it'll pull up preferences. I think you want to go to hotkeys, and then inline search right here. I like command apostrophe. Some people like command semicolon, but if you use superhuman, that's already taken. So I've moved to command apostrophe. So change the hotkey, and then I can go in anywhere inline. Now it's like an operating system level version of snippets from superhuman. So this is the way I usually answer a support ticket. Like I'll start with the hi there. And then I'll go in and say they mentioned, is this okay to wear when I'm pregnant? I don't know where the title for that is, but I'm just going to type in pregnant. Oh yeah, there's one already called can I use levels if I'm pregnant. I usually like to highlight or hover my cursor over the snippet itself, and I can just get a quick preview of what's in there itself, see if it's maybe addressing. Maybe I wanted to use this one, but no, it looks like this one's the one I want. So I'd click in that, pulls in everything. Notion splits everything up when there's links. Funny, but it comes in a lot nicer and helps out. So they mentioned pregnancy, maybe I mentioned I wanted a replacement. So we have a lot of replacements here. This is part of the pruning that we're going to have to do. But yeah, there's, low readings, error message. Some of them are a lot longer than others, but I sometimes click in if I'm abbreviating. But if I, type in strenuous and I know, oh, that second one, strenuous exercise is the one I want, not stren, I can actually hit command 2 and it'll do the same thing instead of clicking on that.
Are there ever times where you're combining and kind of stitching together a response, and what does that look like?
Yeah, honestly, it's very modular. Like I'll pull up, let's do strenuous again, and then maybe they were asking about they need guidance on what they're eating, or guidance on my results. Yeah, let's just use that for example. And I'll just even just go in and say, okay, I don't need this sentence, and so let's get rid of that. And I just mark it up from there myself, but just be able to throw a lot of text in there and parse it down to what I need to be is useful for me. And is a lot. It's a bit more efficient than using the saved replies in Help Scout, because the saved replies in Help Scout will have hi, answer, bye. So if you're using multiple of those, you have maybe 4 or 5 hellos, and you don't want to miss one of those when you're sending out an email. So, and at the end, I will maybe even I do like to do like hope this helps. So I'll do hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any questions. So like those two, I like to add in, but like maybe I didn't really solve their question, so I don't want to say hope this helps. So it just allows me to be modular, and there's a lot of different forms, and it's more about just going through the library that we have inside of Text Expander and seeing what matches your personal voice better, or even just making your, like I've made a couple of those on my own of just, I think I say things a little differently, so add it to myself and then just click and drag it into the Levels organization account, because I know someone down the road will probably have to use it at some point.
So there's a setting in Text Expander called suggestions, suggested snippets. You can have this up in the settings field, so command comma. And on the left-hand side, suggestions. And what this will do is watch you as you type about your computer and all the different places that you're typing. And it doesn't store what you're typing, so there's some security and safety built in. But what it does is that if it notices you typing the same exact thing multiple times, it'll actually suggest that you create a snippet for that. So it's a good reminder to make a snippet for things that you might not otherwise have done. Sometimes it's annoying because you're in the middle of working and you're not really in the mood to start creating snippets when you're trying to get through a certain project or write a certain document. But it is helpful to stop in that moment, just create the snippet. It takes a few seconds and then you can just move it forward. And so this feature reminds you to do that with just a notification. It says, hey, you've typed, you're welcome many, many times today. You'd be faster if you used the snippet.yw.
I also added the hotkey to create a new snippet of just,
that's a good one.
Create a new snippet. Let's make it option command apostrophe. So it's the same call as command apostrophe. I'll go through closed support tickets sometimes and just kind of read through how other people are answering questions. And if I see something I like, I'll just, command option apostrophe and create one real quick.
Great. I turned that on. Got to do that.
Yeah. So then that throws it into the library for your need, but goes into personal. And if I wanted to add that into organization, I just drop it over into Levels general, and then that's there. Let's delete this. So there we go.
Just to improve my writing skills and habits. So if there's certain words that I don't want to use, I actually created a folder of those of words to stop using. So it doesn't interfere with my writing, but it reminds me that like, hey, I just used a phrase that I probably don't want to use. And what I do here is just expand the word itself. So it doesn't actually replace it, but it just catches me because I see the keyboard. I see the text input just kind of like flash for a moment. So let's kind of see what this looks like. It kind of happens in the background. And so if I have a folder here of words that I want to stop using, things like a bit or actually or definitely, things that just kind of like clutter up your writing and make your writing less clear. You can make a snippet to just expand the exact same thing so that it doesn't catch you. It doesn't kind of interfere with your writing, but it makes you double think about using that word. Instead of using the word utilize, I just want to say use, like it's much simpler. And so you should utilize that and it replaces me to use the scheduling feature, right? And so that's just an easy way to do that. If you have sound on, you can use these to just expand the same word. Otherwise, you can just simplify them. If I don't want to say a bit ever, then I can do an abbreviation for a bit and just have nothing in there. I'm a bit upset and just replace it to upset, just for clarity of writing. So if you use Markdown, which is a language just for dropping links and marking up text, there's some shortcuts that you can use to just expand the Markdown, which is pretty fun. You can get really creative by including items from your clipboard in the snippet itself. So if I copy and paste a piece of text, let's say I copy and paste google.com. So I'm selecting this, I'm Command-C copying it. I can now drop this into Markdown format without having to paste the actual link. So it'll drop the link in and then just use my clipboard. It's kind of cool.
That is really cool.
And what's better is you can actually see where to position the cursor after the expansion. So in Markdown, the way you do it is that the HTML link is here, and then you have the description text here. Down link. Yeah, so it's going to be the text, and then the link is actually in the parentheses. So let's build it the other way. Say, I want to position cursor here, and I want to drop the clipboard here. It's going to be the clipboard. That might be a better way to do it. So I'm going to copy the link, which is google.com. And then I'm going to do MMC and then say Google. And now that's the link for Google, which is kind of cool. If you click on the plus on next to public, the public folder on the left-hand side, I think you can search.
Public, yep.
Yeah, I think there's
Nice.
a public library of snippets that you can add. So specific to an industry or specific to like typos, words to stop using, letters upside down. This is just a fun one, but like proper capitalization for different products or names. So like, WordPress is written with a capital P. You might mistype that, or like home screen, FaceTime, Facebook. If you want to get those right, you can autocorrect those to the right capitalization. Accented words, if you don't know how to proper capitalize soiree, your snippets will take care of you for that.
Wow.
Symbols are really helpful. So sometimes you want to drop in a symbol, and it's really annoying to have to go and look for it. And so if you want to just have those here, you can actually paste in the symbols themselves. So greater than, less than, not equal to, any of those. And these make those shortcuts very, very easy, which is kind of fun.
I want to add emoji, subscribe, and we can look over into the text expander app. And yeah, it looks like I'm subscribed now to autocorrect, emoji, symbols. See what my favorite emojis are. Oh yeah. There we go.